And as it turns out, foreign banks actually were the biggest users of the Fed's emergency credit lines during the 2008 financial panic. It also turns out that the Fed extended $35 billion to a bank that's partly owned by the government in Libya. That's right, the same government of Libya that Colonel Muammar Gaddafi has been in charge of since 1969. We lent them money. Now we're bombing them. Bob Ivry of Bloomberg News is following the disclosures by the Fed, and he joins us here again on Street Smart. We could have you on every day, I guess, for a while, because you've got so much data to go through down there. Yes. But let's start with this story on a bank partly owned by Libya and the numbers get higher and higher, right? $35 billion. What bank is this?
This is Arab Banking Corp. And they do have an office. It's right around the corner from Bloomberg World Headquarters on Park Avenue. But they are based in Bahrain. And right now, they're 59% owned by the Central Bank of Libya. At the time they got the money, they were 29% or so owned by the Central Bank of Libya. And they got that $35 billion, Matt, that you're talking about was just between September 15th, 08, when Lehman went under, and March 2010, when the data that we got from the Fed yesterday ends. So that's the 18 months period.
And there are more and more stories like this, not necessarily of Libyan recipients here, but of foreign recipients of U.S. money right after the collapse of Lehman Brothers, which that video kind of makes fun of, but it rings true, doesn't it? Why would the Central Bank of the United States of America not save Lehman Brothers, but then give money to Barclays in order to facilitate it buying Lehman Brothers?
Well, how much time do we have for the answer to that question? I don't know why, the Lehman Brothers thing, books are going to be written and have been written. But as far as the foreign banks, they're all, they all have subsidiaries here in the United States. So it's not like we're sending money over to Tripoli, although that might be where it ended up. Who knows? But they're banks that do business here in the United States, and they're registered here, and they're allowed to go to the Federal Reserve discount window just like any American bank is allowed to go. Bank of America, J.P. Morgan. These foreign banks, Bank of China, Bank of Scotland, Dexia, and DEPFA, all these banks are allowed to go to the Federal Reserve discount window and get loans.
Allowed, and they did, to the tune of billions and billions of dollars. In fact, foreigners were the majority recipients of the money from the discount window, or foreign banks, I should say.
Right. If you're providing money at a very, very cheap interest rate,
and not demanding a lot of collateral,
and well, we don't know. We don't know what perhaps the collateral was a viral video on YouTube. I don't know we don't know what the collateral was required. So if you're making money available, you can't blame these guys for going there and bellying up to the trough and getting the money from the Fed. And the Federal Reserve, the banks around the country are the ones that extend the loans. In a lot of cases, they just look at the minimum requirements, and they stamp the loan application, and they give the money out, and they get the collateral back. And it's a routine administrative function. It doesn't really matter who it is, as long as they qualify under the law.
Well, a lot of them would go to the Federal Reserve Bank of New York.
Yes.
At the time run by the Timothy Geithner, as they say in that video. Now he's the Treasury Secretary.
Yes.
What's the reaction been like to this? We heard Bernie Sanders wrote a scathing letter. In general, though, you'd think not good.
I think that this is an issue that can be picked up, and it can go xenophobic. It could go, these gall-darn foreigners are taking our money out of the country. But it could also go the way that Bernie Sanders couched it. And he said, we have these small business people in Vermont, where he's from, who couldn't get loans and had a very hard time getting financing. But yet here the Federal Reserve is giving money to basically any bank. I mean, you could extend this criticism not only to the foreign-based banks, but to some of the banks that are based here in the United States that maybe didn't deserve to get loans because they were going to go under anyway. So, there's a whole group of people out there, and this is something that we're dealing with after the bailout in general. There's a group of people out there that are stuck with the tab for bailing out the folks who really help perpetuate and cause this financial meltdown.
I was thinking also, the Fed was so reluctant to give this data to us. Bloomberg had to sue, and it took 3 years, went to the Supreme Court, because they said the banks that were recipients of the money might be embarrassed or their images tarnished in the market. And now it seems like maybe they were reluctant to give us the information because it would be embarrassing to the Fed.
You said that, right? I didn't say that.
I posed it as a question. So.
As a reporter, I'm not allowed to have opinions, like you know, Matt. So, but on the other hand, I've been watching the markets today and yesterday after all that information was released, because the Fed and the clearinghouse, the group of banks that defended the lawsuit against Bloomberg, have said it's a stigma against the banks. There's going to be bank runs. There's going to be investor runs. The market has not really reacted at all, and I'd say most of the banks that I took a look at, the shares are up.
Well, there shouldn't be a run on the Arab Banking Corporation. They released a statement today saying that they've paid back all of their Fed loans. Bob Ivry, thank you very much.